Hey guys, Kevin Ray here with Big Reed Egg and Ham, and today is actually Cinco de Mayo, so we are in order to celebrate that, we're going to do my absolute favorite dish, and that is beef birria. And so, if you know what that is, you have tacos. So, anyways, it's a Mexican stew. So it's basically meat, and then you can take the meat out and you have a consomme, or so you can eat it as a stew, or you take the meat out and actually make the craziest delicious tacos. So that's kind of what we're gonna do. Actually a little bit of both on this one, and gonna shake things up just a little bit. Now Birria, I think, normally uses goat or lamb meat. I prefer beef, and most of the places I found it actually serve beef. And we're not only going to use beef, but we've got beef short rib. So this is a beef short rib birria, and you guys are going to love this one. So we're going to kind of brown the meat on a cast iron skillet, and then we're going to cook it on the big green egg, indirect heat. And we're going to cook it in a Dutch oven, so a cast iron Dutch oven. So it's going to be insanely delicious and flavorful. So stay tuned, check it out. I'll have all the ingredients listed and everything in the recipe in the comments. So check those out. I won't go through everything on here, but first off, we've got the egg heating up out there, and now we've got to brown some meat. So let's get started. All right, we've got the skillet heating up here, and I'm gonna get the short ribs on. So here we go. We've got nice boneless short ribs, and I guess you could use the bone ones too, but I prefer just the chunks of meat. Now you can use any beef actually for this. I've done it with pot roast. You can use London broil, something like that. Basically, if you do a larger roast, you're gonna wanna cut it down into chunks about this big. So actually that means these boneless short ribs actually work perfect for it. So now all you wanna do is get the outside brown, and the short ribs are nice because they'll stack up on all four sides just to for ease of browning. And when we're doing that, after you're doing that, or kind of before or after that, what you're going to do is you want to also get for the consomme, you want to get some dried ancho chilies and some dried, well, pretty much any of the chilies will work just fine. I use ancho and carbol, and you can throw in a habanero or something in there too. Just to spice things up a little bit. But anyways, you boil, I use beef stock, actually use bone broth, and bring that up to a boil, and then drop the dried chilies in there. And I'll have, again, it'll all be written out on in the recipe down in the comments below. But so anyways, get your beef. I've got about 5 pounds, just over 5 pounds of short ribs. Get those all browned off, and then we'll check out the rest of the dish. All right, we've got the beef good and brown here, and so that, again, that's about 5 pounds of beef short rib. So we've got that browned off, ready to go in the Dutch oven, and then take the sauce. In addition to that, I did this beforehand. We got some peanuts, some cumin seeds, some oregano, bay leaves, cinnamon stick in there, and we roasted that off in the cast iron skillet as well beforehand. So that's going to go in and be part of much of the flavor for the sauce. The rest of the sauce base here is some dried ancho chilies, and what else we got in there? Some chilies d'arbol, and then that's in about 4 cups of beef stock. And so you bring the beef stock up to a boil, drop in the chilies, let them sit for 20 minutes or so. They get, excuse me, they get good and soft, and then we're going to run all of this stuff through a blender. except for the beef, and then we're going to pour it all over the meat in the Dutch oven over there. So we'll get started with the sauce here in just one sec. All right, so we've got the chilies and the bone broth here in the Vitamix. Also have the dried ingredients there. Also forgot to mention chocolate. So anyways, you're gonna just wanna drop a little bit. I've got 4 cubes of, this is 85% dark chocolate. Now you can use, the recipe actually calls for Mexican chocolate, but I was unable to find that. So drop that in there with the hot mixture, and then drop in the spices and peanuts, all the dry ingredients. And then we're going to turn that on here. I think we're going to give it a shot anyway. So, and then just blend that up, if you can still hear me. So blitz that really good. And then we're going to pour that over the beef with a little more stock. So, and that's looking really good. So we're going to, I'll turn this off right now, and then we'll meet over by the Dutch oven and put the meat in. All right, so got the meat all packed nicely in the Dutch oven. We've got the sauce that we just blitzed, so the chilies and all the dry ingredients. So you just pour that in. There we go, over that. Then we just want to add in enough beef broth to cover it. So I'm actually gonna pour it in here because we wanna get all this good stuff out of the Vitamix. All right. There we go. That's looking pretty good. And so now we're going to cover this up and go put it on a big green egg. All right, so one thing I forgot to mention and forgot to do is we want to put in about 6 or 7 cloves of garlic, and then about 1 big or 1.5 white onions. I just quarter them up, and so chuck them in there to cook, and then once the meat's done, we'll pull the meat out, and then we'll blitz that sauce again, and then run it through a sieve so it's nice and clear and delicious. So anyways, that's that. We'll check this out on, put it on the big green egg, and get her cooking. All right, well, there it is after about 45 minutes. You can see it's getting some good color on there from the smoke, and we're going to cover it up here in just a little bit. All right, let's check on this meat here. Been a couple hours. That's looking good. Switch hands here maybe. All right, not tender yet. We're gonna let that cook a bit longer, cover it up, and be back out here. We'll tap on this in a couple more hours. Stay tuned. All right, so we've got the meat's been cooking here. The short ribs been cooking for about 4 hours, and you can see here it's nice and soft, nice and tender. We're going to pull the meat out, put it on a tray. We're going to pull the meat apart, and then we're going to throw it back on the grill just to char a little bit around the edges once we get it pulled. And then we are going to have some beef short rib birria, and you guys, it's going to blow your mind. All right, there's that. We're going to pull it apart and get it back on the grill like I said, and we'll see how it turns out. All right, we've got the short ribs pulled apart there, nice, and gonna chuck this on. We've got the big green egg up to about 500, and I've moved the stone out of the way, so we're gonna cook this, gonna grill it on direct heat. We're just gonna sit it down there and let it char just a little bit. So give it a few minutes and then we'll pull it off. And we're gonna have some beef short rib birria tacos. All right, there you can see that's good and charred on there. So we're going to pull that off and we're gonna get to eating. Oh shit, are you kidding me with this? Look at that. All right, and there is the finished product, your beef birria, beef short rib birria tacos, and I'm gonna eat that.